What if I told you that McDonald's, the largest fast food company in the world, doesn't actually want to sell you a hamburger? That the Big Mac, the French fries, the entire global food operation, is a carefully crafted illusion. A front for their real business. Because McDonald's isn't in the food business. They are in the real estate business. And they are one of the most successful real estate corporations in human history. The burgers are just the machine that pays the rent. With over 40,000 locations in more than 100 countries, the Golden Arches are one of the most recognizable symbols on Earth. The company serves nearly 70 million people every single day. By all measures, it is the undisputed king of fast food. But this global empire wasn't built on a secret sauce or a more efficient grill. It was built on a foundation of concrete and land. As of 2024, McDonald's owns a property portfolio valued at over $42 billion. In fact, the company makes the vast majority of its profit not from selling food, but from collecting rent. It's a strategy so brilliant, and so hidden in plain sight, that it fundamentally changed the business of franchising forever. So how did a humble burger stand transform into a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire? And why is the land under the Golden Arches infinitely more valuable than the food being served inside them? This is the story of the strategy that unlocked McDonald's true fortune. Our story begins not with a strategy, but with a problem. In 1948, two brothers, Dick and Mac McDonald, revolutionized the American restaurant. They streamlined their San Bernardino, California burger stand into a hyper-efficient assembly line they called the Speedy Service System. By focusing on a limited menu of burgers, fries, and shakes, they could produce high-quality food at incredible speed and low prices. The McDonald brothers were operational geniuses. But they lacked the ambition to expand. That ambition arrived in 1954, in the form of a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc. Kroc saw the brothers' system and was mesmerized. He saw its potential not as a single restaurant, but as a chain that could stretch across the entire country. He struck a deal with the brothers to become their franchising agent. The terms were simple. Kroc would sell the McDonald's franchise for a one-time fee of $950. For his services, the corporation would collect a royalty of 1.9% of the franchise's gross sales. Of that 1.9%, the McDonald brothers would receive 0.5%. This left Ray Kroc with a slim 1.4% margin. And this is where the problem started. Kroc was wildly successful at selling the franchise concept. But he was making almost no money. A franchisee might be earning a comfortable living on $100,000 in annual sales, but Kroc's take from that success was a mere $1,400. After his own business expenses, he was barely breaking even. In his first 8 years, he personally accumulated a debt of over $5.6 million. He was franchising a revolutionary, profitable business model, but he himself was going broke. The model was flawed. He was selling the sizzle, but getting none of the steak. The solution didn't come from a food industry expert. It came from a financial wizard named Harry J. Sonneborn. Kroc met Sonneborn in 1955 and quickly hired him as McDonald's first chief financial officer. Sonneborn took one look at the company's books and saw the fatal flaw. The 1.4% royalty was too small and too volatile. It was dependent on the operational skill of hundreds of different franchisees. Sonneborn proposed a radical shift in perspective. He reportedly told Kroc, "You are not in the hamburger business. You are in the real estate business." He argued that the real value of the McDonald's system wasn't the food. It was the powerful ability of the brand to generate consistent cash flow at a specific physical location. The business wasn't the burgers. The business was the corner lot the burgers were sold on. Sonneborn's idea was to stop just selling the franchise rights and start controlling the land itself. If McDonald's owned the property and leased it to the franchisee, it would create a second, far more stable and profitable, revenue stream. This was the pivot. The moment McDonald's stopped being a food company and started its journey to becoming a real estate titan. The execution of this new strategy was both simple and brilliant. In 1956, Sonneborn established a subsidiary called the Franchise Realty Corporation. The purpose of this new entity was to own and control all McDonald's properties. Here's how the model worked. First, the Franchise Realty Corporation would use the parent company's capital to scout and secure the best possible commercial locations. They focused on prime corner lots with high traffic and visibility, often near new suburban developments. They would either buy the land and building outright or, more commonly, sign a long-term master lease on the property themselves. Second, they would turn around and sublease that exact property to a new franchisee as part of the franchise agreement. To open a McDonald's, you didn't just pay a franchise fee, you were required to lease your location directly from McDonald's. And here is the core of the strategy. The rent charged to the franchisee was not based on the market rate. Instead, McDonald's required franchisees to pay a percentage of their sales as rent, typically between 8.5 and 15, on top of the standard royalty fees. Let's look at the numbers. On a restaurant with $1 million in sales, the old model gave Kroc just $14,000 in royalties. Under the new model, McDonald's would receive its royalty fee plus an additional $85,000 or more in rent. This immediately transformed the company's financial structure. Instead of a single, volatile stream of income based on burger sales, McDonald's now had a dual stream system. The royalties covered the operational costs of the franchising system, while the rent payments became almost pure profit. It was a guaranteed, predictable cash flow that was significantly larger and more reliable than the food business. This real estate strategy did more than just generate cash. It gave McDonald's unprecedented control and security. It created what can be described as golden handcuffs for its franchisees. The lease agreement was typically for 20 years, and it was ironclad. If a franchisee failed to meet the strict operational standards of the brand, from cleanliness to customer service, McDonald's didn't have to engage in a messy legal battle over the franchise rights. They could simply terminate the lease. This meant they could evict a poor operator and replace them with a new one, all while retaining ownership of a proven, profitable location. The franchisee took on all the risks of running the restaurant, payroll, inventory, and daily operations. McDonald's, as the landlord, simply collected the rent. Furthermore, the strategy created a powerful growth flywheel. Every new restaurant added another stream of rental income. That income provided more capital for the franchise Realty Corporation to go out and buy or lease even more prime real estate. More prime real estate allowed them to open more restaurants, which in turn generated more rental income. It was a self-perpetuating cycle of growth. And while the value of a hamburger disappears the moment it's eaten, the value of the land underneath the restaurant appreciates over time. Every location McDonald's purchased became a valuable asset on its balance sheet, growing in worth year after year. Today, this model is the engine of the entire corporation. Around 95 of McDonald's restaurants are owned and operated by franchisees. In 2023, McDonald's generated over $15 billion in revenue from these franchise locations. But the truly astounding figure is the profit margin. The operating margin on their franchise business is a staggering 85%, largely because it's driven by high-margin rent and royalty checks. Compare that to the 16% margin on the restaurants McDonald's operates itself. The numbers tell the whole story. And that is the secret. That is the genius of the McDonald's strategy. McDonald's is not a restaurant company that happens to own property. It is a meticulously designed real estate corporation that uses the franchising of restaurants to acquire the best commercial properties in the world. The franchisees are not McDonald's primary customers. They are its tenants. The company's business model isn't built on the hope that franchisees sell enough burgers to generate a small royalty. It's built on a legal contract that guarantees McDonald's a significant rent payment every single month, regardless of a store's specific profitability. The franchisee takes on the immense risk and the low-margin, high-volume work of the fast food industry. They manage the employees, the supply chain, the customers. In return, McDonald's, the landlord, gets a secure, high-margin income stream that is backed by one of the most powerful and recognizable brands ever created. The Big Mac isn't the final product. The Big Mac is simply the engine that guarantees the franchisee can pay the mortgage on McDonald's actual product, the land. The brilliance of Harry Sonneborn's strategy was his ability to look at a business and identify its most valuable, stable asset. He realized that in the restaurant business, long-term value wasn't in the food, it was in the physical location where the food was sold. By separating the volatile business of serving food from the stable, appreciative business of owning property, he created a model that insulated McDonald's from risk and set it on a course for compounding growth. It's a powerful lesson for any business. Sometimes, the thing you think you're selling isn't the most valuable thing you have. The McDonald's real estate empire is a masterclass in seeing the hidden asset in your own business model and having the courage to build your entire company around it. If you learned something new, hit the like button and subscribe for more strategy breakdowns. And let us know in the comments, what company strategy should we unlock next?